I'm Lucie Fink, and this week is 5 days of festival hair. Hey everyone, and welcome back to Refinery29's YouTube channel. Click on the little subscribe box in the corner to join our happy family, and give this video a thumbs up if you're excited to see 5 incredible festival-inspired hairdos. I myself have actually never been to a music festival before, and my dad, who himself has been to a few famous music festivals, is probably really disappointed in me. Sorry, Dad. So I'm definitely gonna work on getting myself to a festival in the near future, but in the meantime, I brought all the festival vibes to my life in New York City. Last week, I partnered up with Pantene and I used their festival kit to try out 5 unique festival hair looks. Last year, I did 5 days of different hairstyles, so this episode is basically gonna be 2.0 of that episode, the festival version. As you may already know about me, I myself am not a hair expert in the slightest. I can pretty much do little more than a single braid on my head, so in order to really try out some epic hairstyles, I had to partner up with 5 amazing New York City-based hairstylists. Each one brought their own unique style and their personal skills and creativity to the job, and we partnered on 5 incredible looks that I am so excited to share with you. So let me rewind and take you back to Monday. I wanted to ease my way into the week by starting off with a festival classic, the beach wave. But to be honest, I wear beach waves pretty much every day, so I knew that I had to take this everyday hairstyle of mine to the next level. I met up with Clara in the Refinery29 studio. Look at what you have here! And let me tell you, she came equipped with all of the accessories we could possibly ever need in our lifetime.
Oh my god. The biggest clip in the world. Can I put it on?
Yes.
This is festival chic.
All right, are you ready for your festival hair?
I have never been more ready.
I started off with clean, straight hair, and Clara just did a little bit of prep work magic to make sure that my part was straight and my flyaways were down. And then she began with the curls. She sectioned off my hair so that she could work in layers, and then she added some waves using a 1-inch curling iron. Before curling each piece, she sprayed some hairspray onto it and brushed it through. She didn't use the curling iron the way I typically would for curls or beach waves. Instead, she turned the barrel sideways and then crimped my hair in one direction and bent it back and crimped it in the other direction. And also, instead of curling small pieces of hair, which would give it more of a piecey look, she curled larger chunks at once so that the whole head had the illusion of being one smooth crimp.
Now we're gonna do some hair accessories.
Now this is where it got really fun. It may have just looked like she was kind of placing the clips randomly on my head with no rhyme or reason, and color-wise she was doing that, so she was just sort of following her intuition. But placement-wise, she was actually following the natural movement of my crimps, and she was placing the clips in the creases almost as if to hold the wave in place.
I decided to go for the milder version, but you can too.
You always need a tamer friend. All right, so I think you and me together with our clips, we're just about ready for the next festival.
But you know what they say, go big or go home. This was my first day of festival hair, and I wasn't planning on going home, so I had to go big. When I think of a festival, I think of style, culture, art, music, dancing, food, and so much fun. So I wanted to cherry pick 5 different aspects of festival life and dedicate one day of my week to each of them. Monday's theme was all about, drum roll please, art. Once my look was complete, I took to the streets and did an art crawl around Lower Manhattan. Through art, you're invited inside of someone else's head and into their world, and I love how festivals these days really highlight artists. Street art is especially enticing to me because it's so starkly contrasted with the buildings and with the urban landscape of the city. So I did some bopping around on the streets of Manhattan, looking at the street art, and even though my hair did look very whimsical and kind of silly on the streets of New York, I did have some more quiet, introspective moments that really gave me some perspective. And at the end of the day, I had a dinner reservation with friends, and even though I personally loved the clips and thought that it was perfect for my art crawl, I did feel like it was maybe a little bit too out there for a casual dinner with friends. That being said, it was super easy to transition this look from day to night just by taking out the clips and then spraying my whole head with Pantene's air spray from their festival kit just to lock in those curls. I didn't wash my hair on Monday night, so on Tuesday when I woke up, my hair had some real grit and texture to it, and I knew that would be perfect for style number 2. Rosabelle, an amazing hairstylist, met me at my apartment on Tuesday and we began the look.
Hello!
This look was about pairing that over-the-top aspect that many festival looks have with more of a sophisticated, everyday style.
I'm so excited. Let's get this festival hair on.
So I'm gonna prep your hair with some dry shampoo.
She began by parting my hair down the middle and separating it into 3 parts. She tied the center section into a ponytail using a clear elastic, and then joined the 2 sides into the middle to create one big ponytail. As she was doing this, she made sure to leave some wispy pieces in the front on both sides just to frame my face. Next, she made a tight fishtail braid. These are the types of braids that immediately come to my mind when I think of festival hair. There's almost a mermaid-like and dreamy quality about them. And then here is where the sophistication comes in. She twirled the braid up into a tight bun on the back of my head and pinned it in place. Honestly, the braid pinned up like that looked pretty awesome on its own, but once we added the gemstone bobby pins, the whole look just took on a life of its own. She brushed down my flyaways with some hairspray on a toothbrush, and then the look was complete. Tuesday's festival theme was all about fun. And one thing that I think looks incredibly fun about festivals is the dancing. So I went to Forward Space in Soho, which is basically where a sanctuary meets a club dancing environment.
Are you guys ready to dance? This is the space for you to simply let loose, ground yourself, and reconnect rather than having to get it just right.
I met up with a few Refinery29 coworkers, and I even made some new friends. The experience of dancing with a group of people can be really energizing and invigorating. There are no expectations, no judgments. Everyone's just coming together for their mutual love of music and dance, and people are grooving to their own beat. And that's exactly what the experience at Forward Space is all about. I had never taken a class there before, but the room was really dark with neon lights on the walls and ceilings, and it got hot and sweaty in that room pretty quickly. And when the class was over, we celebrated what we accomplished together as a community.
You guys, let's clap so loud. Yes, yes.
The class was so infectious that at the end of all of this, the guy who was running audio on the Try Living with Lucie film crew actually jumped in there and started dancing himself. This was the perfect hairstyle to have on while doing something so physically active because it was really tight and it held up nicely. I think I maybe only lost 1 bobby pin during the entire class. And Tuesday was just a reminder for me that festivals are all about celebration. Celebrating your friends, celebrating trying new things, and also celebrating yourself. And another thing I want to celebrate is my hair, which at this point had made it through 2 days of tons of accessories, a lot of hair products, tons of heat, and probably a lot of dirt buildup. So on Tuesday, I used a nourishing mask to get my hair nice and ready for day 3. I love looking at hairstyles from a historical lens, and I find it so intriguing that just like with makeup and with clothing, that different hairstyles can be so iconic to a particular time period. So naturally, in a 5-day challenge that's centered around hair, I knew that at least one of my looks needed to be a throwback style. On Wednesday, I invited a fantastic hairstylist, William, to the Refinery29 office.
Hi.
Hi!
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Such a pleasure to meet you.
You too, welcome to Refinery29.
Thank you so much for having me.
So we collaborated to create a glamorous hairstyle that I myself have never tried before, the beehive.
The beehive definitely originated in the 60s, but there was a bit of a carryover at the early 70s. When you're at the festival and your friends lose you, they'll definitely be able to find you. The first thing that we're gonna do is create a little bit more of a 70s curl.
He began by curling my hair away from my face with a medium-sized iron.
The key to good curls is the way it cools down. A lot of people think that they need to like brush it out immediately when you're curling it, but if you leave it until it cools down and then do a thorough brush through, it'll last way longer.
And then sectioning off the front of my hair so that I'd have some pieces framing my face at the end. I'm sure that when you envision a beehive, you think of a lot of volume and height. But one thing that I didn't know was how intricate that twist can be on the back of this style. He teased the hair at the nape of my neck and then began smoothing it all over to one side and bobby pinning it up. He was linking the pins together as he worked just to create almost like a barrier at the edge. And then he just twisted my hair in on itself to form the roll. And finally, it was time for the iconic hive.
I am going to be using a filler.
Wow.
He teased my hair at the crown of my head and then, starting from the ends, wrapped my hair around the sponge and wound it all the way down to my scalp so that the sponge was basically fully covered by my hair. He took some more of my hair from the front and sides.
What?
and smoothed it all over the sponge to make sure that it wasn't visible at all, and secured my hair with pins in the back. From here, it was all about smoothing and reshaping. We used a lot of hairspray, did a lot of brushing, and ultimately had a huge beehive on top of my head with a fashionable twist in the back. Wednesday's festival theme was all about styles, so I popped on an outfit that I thought went nicely with the beehive hairdo, and we took to the High Line in New York City for a high fashion photo shoot. I think that this look was probably the least quintessentially festival-like of the week. I personally haven't seen photos of any festival goers rocking this hairstyle yet, but that's almost why I wanted to include it in this week's episode. Festivals are all about self-expression, and there's just no room to be concerned about what other people are thinking of you. I felt like I was straight out of another time period, and I think that's the beauty of a good hairstyle. It can transform you and take you to another time and another place. At the very end of the day on Wednesday, William helped me take the style out, and we sprayed my whole head with dry shampoo just to refresh my hair for Thursday. I tend to gravitate towards loose waves and brightly colored accessories, but I knew that for at least one day in this challenge, I wanted to mix it up and try a look that was a little bit edgier, and I knew just who to call. My girl T, an amazing hairstylist, came through for me with hair rings and glitter, and she helped me create this awesome asymmetrical look.
So we're gonna put a Dutch braid on the side, then we're gonna add some hair rings going all the way down just to give you a little bit of hair jewelry. Then we're gonna add texture into your hair, and then we're gonna put glitter everywhere.
We started out with a very deep side part, and then on my right side, she made a Dutch braid. She used the Dutch braiding technique until just about the bottom of my chin, and then she finished it off with a regular braid for the rest of the way down. Once the braid was in, she curled the other side of my hair, and she taught me an interesting technique for beach waves here. I typically curl all of my hair in one direction, but she alternated directions on each piece, and she also curled smaller pieces than I normally would. So as opposed to Monday's more uniform look, this gave my hair a ton of movement and life. And then it was time to finish the look off. She clipped the hair rings into different parts of my braid, and at this point I felt like I was either about to bike across America on the back of a motorcycle or hit up a rock and roll concert. One or the other. Could have done both.
And now it's time for my favorite part, the glitter!
All right, hit me.
Just kidding.
T just sprayed on a light dusting of glitter, which kind of just made my hair shimmer if you caught it in the right light.
Call me Glitter Bae.
Oh yeah!
Yes, girl!
Yay, thank you so much. You're the best.
So back when I was in college, whenever there was a campus fair or a festival, it was pretty much always centered around food trucks. And I've seen enough photos of music festivals to know that sometimes the food can be the real showstopper. So it should come to you as no surprise that on at least one day in this festival-inspired week, I focused on food. In the middle of the day on Thursday, I popped downstairs to a local street vendor and bought myself a giant salted pretzel. And let's be real, everything tastes better when you're having a good hair day. One thing that's very important to me in my personal life is that after I've had a week that's filled with a lot of stress or a lot of intensity, that I take some time to just rest and revitalize. And when it comes to your hair, it's no different. So on day 4, after a week filled with a ton of accessories and product and heat on my hair, I used an intense rescue shot to repair and prep my hair for the final look. For my last day of festival hair, I went big. I invited a celebrity hairstylist, Jennifer, to come give me a festival look of her choice. She is an absolute pro at putting in tight, high ponytails, so on Friday, I tried her signature look. She began by parting my hair in the center and then making 2 additional parts, one on each side, to prep for 2 small braids. And then we started the extensions. I've only tried extensions one other time for another episode of Try Living with Lucie, but I absolutely loved them. The extensions Jennifer picked out were a perfect match for my hair color, and since we were doing a ponytail, I needed to make sure that the extensions were the right direction once they were lifted up. So she actually put them in upside down from how you'd normally clip extensions in if you were going to wear your hair down. And only once you get to the region on your head where the ponytail starts do you start putting the extensions in the other direction. She clipped them all in. My hair was about 150% bigger than it was before, and then she began the braids at the top. She did Dutch braids, so the type of braid that sits on top of your head. And then she gathered my hair together to start building the ponytail. This part is heavy duty work. She has to keep her arms in the air, gathering layers and layers of hair and brushing it over and over again until it's 100% smooth and slick. Since there's so much hair here, a simple hair tie probably won't cut it. So instead she took a long elastic string and wrapped it around and around and around before tying it off. Once the ponytail was up, she used a 1-inch wand to make some curls. She used the same technique as Monday's look, almost adding a crimped effect to the waves.
I can't even tell what's my real hair anymore.
That's the whole point.
She slicked down all of my flyaways with some hairspray on a toothbrush, and then she took a brush to the ponytail and brushed it out to make it even bigger and even fluffier. We finished the look off with a line of glitter down each of my 3 parts. Using a mixture of silver, blue, and pink, we achieved almost a unicorn and purplish effect, and that was that. This look screamed festival hair, and it's truly amazing how a tight ponytail can almost give you a facelift. It was really tight. Friday's festival theme was, of course, music, and who doesn't love a Friday night show in New York City? So I met up with my friend Sam at a So-Far show.
So good to see you.
You too.
Welcome to the show.
Oh my gosh, I got some wine.
Yes, amazing.
Oh my gosh, that hair.
Oh yeah, what do you think?
Oh my, I love it.
So-Far is a company that sets up these intimate, private music shows in secret locations all around the world.
Are we ready for some music? That's what I like to hear.
You apply for a ticket via a lottery system, and then if you get picked, you'll get an email the day before the show letting you know where the show is taking place. And they're always at unexpected locations like somebody's living room or a warehouse, or in this case, at a men's clothing store in Soho. My hair was definitely ready for a full-blown rave. Probably a little bit overboard for the acoustic show that we were actually going to, but I thought it was so much fun to try something different and wild and colorful, and I could tell that everyone there was intrigued by the look. This week was one of my favorite Try Living with Lucie episodes to date, and I promise it's not just because I got to have 5 awesome hairstylists playing with my hair for hours on end, although that was part of it. Mostly I felt like I just got a taste of how hairstyling is a true art form and a real way to express yourself creatively. I could tell that each of these 5 stylists sees a head of hair as a blank canvas. There are endless possibilities and endless styles, each adding to a completely new look and conjuring up an entirely different emotion. So now when I actually get myself to a festival, I'll have 5 awesome looks in my back pocket that I'm ready to recreate. Comment below and let us know if you're going to a music festival anytime soon, and also let us know which of these 5 looks was your personal favorite. Let me know what you want to see me try next time, and we'll see you then on Try Living with Lucie. Bye! Hey YouTube, thanks for watching. Click here for another 5-day challenge, here to subscribe to Refinery29 on YouTube, and right here for my personal YouTube channel. See ya!